Hallo kykers en welkom by vandag se episode van Erongo Talk, julle gunsteling en soos almal weet, hoogs betroubare aanlyn nuusbron. Ons bring vir julle nuus, Krampie se visvangverslag, die weer en Batten Heyns van die Internationale Tug-of-War Federations gesels ook oor die 8ste Afrika toutrek kampioenskappe wat in Swakopmund vanaf 30 Junie tot 2 Julie plaasvind. Eerst op die lys is ons kalenderdag en vandag vier ons kameradag. So, geniet die video insetsel saam met ons. In vandag se nuus, die munisipaliteit van Walvisbaai het 'n uiteensetting van sy uitgawes vir die 2021-2022 boekjaar asook sy voorgestelde begroting vir die nuwe finansiële jaar voorgelê. Die inligting is bekend gemaak tydens 'n openbare vergadering wat belê is om die gemeenskap se insette te bekom oor die voorgestelde begroting vir 2022-2023 wat nog ter tafel gelê moet word. Die begroting sou aanvanklik verlede week ter tafel gelê word, maar is vir 'n onbepaalde tyd uitgestel na inwoners hulle kommer uitgespreek het dat geen konsultasies vooraf gehou is nie. Die munisipaliteit se finansiële hoofbestuurder, Frans Kontep, het verduidelik die munisipale raad beoog om 'n begroting van 815 miljoen Namibiese dollar ter tafel te lê, insluitend 563 miljoen vir operasionele projekte en 252 miljoen vir kapitaalprojekte. Die grootste deel van die begroting is vir grondontwikkeling, maatskaplike projekte, diensleweringsprojekte, die herstel en vervanging van infrastruktuur, nuwe voertuie en 'n capex finansiering uit inkomste geoormerk. Projekte wat vir die nuwe finansiële jaar aangepak gaan word, sluit 'n brandweerstasie vir Tutaleni, 'n nuwe begrafplaas vir Narwal, die ontwikkeling van 'n jeugsentrum en 'n nuwe informele mark vir Narwal. Volgens Kontep word 'n verhoging van 5% op water, riool en sanitasie beoog. 'n Daling in tariewe en grondbelasting sal egter geld weens grondpryse wat met 50% en verbeterings met 19% afgeneem het. Besoek gerus ons webwerf www.erongo.com.na vir meer oor die begroting. In nog nuus het die voormalige Namibiese ambassadeur in Brasilië en ook streekgouverneur Samuel Lioma verlede week die Institute of Patriotism and Decolonization of Africa Mindset Foundation Trust in Swakopmund bekendgestel. Sy eggenoot Helena is 'n mede-stigter en trustee. Die trust word deur 'n raad van trustees wat nog gestig moet word bestuur en sal in Swakopmund gesetel wees waar Nyoma gewoon en as burgemeester gedien het voor hy die leiersels as gouverneur van Erongo oorgeneem het. Die doelwitte van die trust sluit in die onderrig van Afrikaners om hulle ingesteldheid te dekoloniseer en die gees van patriotisme, nasionalisme, liefde en respek van mede-Afrikaners en Namibiërs te omhels. Die trust is daarop gemik om bewustheid van Afrika en vertroue te inspireer om koloniale mentaliteite te oorkom, Pan-Afrikanisme te bevorder, die jeug aan te moedig om onderwys ernstig op te neem, veral in gebiede wat relevant is tot Namibië se ekonomiese ontwikkeling en om selfstandigheid te bevorder. Nujoma het verduidelik, hy het die inisiatief oor byna 'n dekade ontwikkel en daaroor begin dink weens die kwessies wat Afrika terughou in terme van ontwikkeling en die behoefte om die gedagtes van Afrikaner te dekoloniseer. Hy het beklemtoon, die inisiatief is nie partygebonde nie en die versekering gegee dat die trust die regte van die uitdrukking van individue, die wette van Namibië en die van Afrika in totaliteit respekteer. En daarmee kom ons dan aan die einde van vandag se nuus. Gaan loer gerus op ons webwerf www.erongo.com.na of ons Facebook bladsy vir meer nuus uit die streek.
So we are here with Mr. Buttons Heyns, who is the International Tug-of-War Federation representative in Namibia.
That's correct.
And we are looking forward to the African Tug-of-War Championships to take place in Swakopmund from the end of the month. And Mr. Heyns is going to tell us a bit more about it. So thanks for joining us, Mr. Heyns. Tell us a bit about this event.
Yeah, originally in 2019 or 2020, beginning of 2020, the Tug-of-War International Federation approached me to see if I can represent them in Namibia. We used to have a Tug-of-War Federation in Namibia, but it's died down, I think, since 2000. And then they asked me to host the African Champs in Swakopmund specifically.
Okay.
Well, we did start off with a bang in 2020, and then also in 2021 we had to postpone it because of COVID, but now we are ready to host it, and it will be on the 1st and the 2nd of July.
All right.
Here at the North Sports Ground Veneta. And yeah, at the moment we have there was some sort of difficulties with the teams. Obviously everybody's got a financial restraint. But at the moment we have South Africa who's bringing their SA team and also a development team, about 50 players. Then we have clubs in South Africa that's also going to join, Kimberley, Breedevier and some others. We have Zimbabwe that's also bringing about 16 teams.
Wow.
And we have one team from Cameroon, and then some teams from Nigeria and Zambia.
Yeah.
Then locally, because we haven't got any teams, national teams at the moment, because we didn't do national championships, but we've got some of the SOEs that have sort of joined in municipalities. Windhoek has already submitted one team, so we're quite excited about that. And yeah, we're gonna do it on the 1st and the 2nd of July, and it's gonna be twofold. So in the mornings we'll have the Open Club Championships, where the clubs from the different countries will compete against each other, and in the afternoons we'll have the national championships, where the countries will compete against each other.
All right. Just briefly, the dynamics of tug-of-war. How does that work? How many players are on a side, and what is the aim of this game?
Yeah, the aim of this game is obviously also, I think, the only game that you go backwards and win. But yeah, there's divisions, weight categories, and we will compete in the 720, 640 for men. Then we have a 580 mix, which is for ladies and men, and then 560 and 520 for ladies. So how does it work? 8 people have to weigh into that specific weight category, and you're not allowed to be 1 gram overweight, so it's quite a precise sport. And everybody also thinks it's just that we say old Boere sport, but it's very technical in a sense, because there's a lot of rules that you have to adhere to, and mistakes that you can make, and you can be blown out for that. And normally a game will take up to 2 to 3 minutes, but it has also been, I know the South African record is 22 minutes for one pool.
Wow.
And we've also had experiences where 640 kilogram team will compete against, I think once we did against a Springbok forward pack, and they were about 900 kilos and they couldn't pull the team away. So it's very
Wow.
technical. You also wear boots with a little bit of a metal foot piece so that you can get some grip on it. Yeah, that's basically how it works. And in South Africa, for instance, it's a very big sport. I think they just had the junior championships with over 3,000 competitors, and a very sort of open, clear, and also cheap type of sport in the sense that you need a jersey, boots, and a PT pants.
And a big rope.
And a big rope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I may just, the length of the rope and the area that you need to pull over or to cover to win, what is that space?
The rope's normally about 30 meters long. You get the shorter and longer distances. 2.5 meters that you have to pull another team to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were saying that Namibia, there is no real interest in the sport? What is the problem here?
The last competition we had in Namibia, I think it was in 2000, it was called the Oceanics Championship at the soccer field here at Swakopmund, SFC. I think the problem is also coaches, the problem is also ground routes. I have to start from ground routes again. But in those days, Namibia had quite strong teams. They also competed internationally. But I think distance is also a problem because every weekend you have to do a competition. It's quite a hectic program to qualify for internationals. So I think that might be the problem. It takes a lot of work to get this, and that is why we're trying to host these championships, to put some presence on the sport, and also to the 2 days before the time, the 29th and 30th of June, Tug-of-War International Federation will also host a coaches clinic and also a judges clinic, so that the municipalities and SOEs that's currently doing that sport can also do it on a competitive level, nationally and internationally.
The event as such on those 2 days, there will obviously be the competition between the two teams pulling a rope, but will there be other events or activities, facilities available?
Well, we'll have some beverages here, we'll also have kiosks here, but the main focus will obviously be on the tug of war. We did invite schools and other municipalities to come and join us here, and not necessarily compete in the open clubs or national championships, but also just to come and have a separate competition on those 2 days to introduce them to the sport and also see if they like it and get some interest in it.
Is there any promotion of the sport on school level?
Yeah, we've been trying to do that. We just had a tour in the north to Chumeb, Ondangwa, Windiva or Shikati, where we did introduce the sport last year and this year to try and see if the schools will try and play the sport. Yeah, there's challenges with the strict program and the condensed program that sports teams already have, with rugby, cricket, tennis, netball, volleyball, basketball. So we're competing with those sports as well, but I think if the bug bites you, then you'll see that it's actually a wonderful sport. We will launch a program next year to see how we can involve schools and also other entities to come and join the sport.
Now, Mr. Heyns, you know the representative of the International Federation in Namibia, but you've also got a background in tug-of-war. You know the sport, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
I did compete in tug-of-war in South Africa at a club called Gaudini, which is one of the biggest clubs and strongest clubs in the country. And then later on I had my own club, Breerivier. Eventually later on I also coached some of the South African teams on the international level. That's how I started competing, and that's my children also used to do the sport when they were at school, and yeah, that's how I got involved.
So you know exactly what you're talking about. Huh?
I used to, yes. I would like to invite everybody to to come and have a look at the sport on the 1st and 2nd of July. It's here at, like I said, Veneta North Sports Ground. And just come and bring your chair and your umbrella or gazebo and come and sit down and see how the beast battle it out. It's quite intense. It's actually a very nice sport to watch, and people get worked up as the teams compete. We'll also at the end of the competition or during the competition see how we can select a open Namibian team and then compete against the other teams. So hopefully we will compete properly and keep the country's name high.
The east wind has hit the coast hard and should be a nuisance until Thursday lunchtime. Despite this, some good catches were reported. Long Beach was the winner and gave anglers great galjoen catches on Sunday. The best area to fish is immediately after the Damraton breeding area when driving from Swakopmund towards Walvis Bay. The better catches are usually in that area of the first turn-off, and one can also harvest your own fresh white mussel in this area. You may take 25 mussels per person if you have a valid recreational fishing permit. In winter, the mussels migrate a little deeper, so be prepared to get wet. In summer, the mussels migrate to the high water mark area, so at low tide, one can easily dig them out of the ground. There were also some kop caught around the Vlotskas area, but mostly galjoen were targeted. Some blacktail also took the angler's bait. Conditions will be great for the galjoen derby on 2 July. The entry fee for the competition is $140 Namibian per angler, and the winning prize is a whooping 20,000 Namibian dollars. The Zeilerweg is also a very good area to fish for galjoen and steamras, and there one can also get your fresh white mussel. Now here's a tip. When you want to open a mussel, cut the mussel's flesh straight through while it is still in its shell. Then one has two halves that have a large surface area and thus gives off more smell to the fish as to opening the mussel and taking out the flesh and then cutting it in half. This makes a huge difference. Try it and you might be pleasantly surprised. Another tip is to dip your mussel flesh into aniseed. We don't know if it masks the human smell, but one thing is for sure, it really works. Grysduintjie and Trappies also gave their share of galjoen this past week. This area is just north of Heyns Bay and is a very popular area to target both edibles and inedibles. The conditions for this weekend look super good for targeting steamras in the canopy area as well as at Marketer's Turn. Try a bit of chicken liver, yes, the ones we fry in a pan, because steamras love them and lots of steamras are caught with this bait. Give it a go. And with that, we've come to say tight lines.
And now for your weather. Sunset at the coast will be at 27 minutes past 6 on Wednesday, and sunrise will be 17 minutes to 8 on Thursday. Walvish Bay will have a maximum of 26 degrees Celsius on Wednesday, and for Thursday a minimum of 19 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 27 degrees Celsius. A 28 knot northeast wind will prevail. Swakopmund will have a maximum of 28 degrees Celsius on Wednesday, and for Thursday a minimum of 19 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 26 degrees Celsius. A 26 knot northeasterly wind will prevail. Heyns Bay will have a maximum of 26 degrees Celsius on Wednesday, and for Thursday a minimum of 19 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 27 degrees Celsius. A 26 knot northeast wind will prevail. Arandas will have a maximum of 27 degrees Celsius on Wednesday, and for Thursday a minimum of 15 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 28 degrees Celsius. A 25 knot northeast wind will prevail. Usakos will have a maximum of 24 degrees Celsius on Wednesday, and for Thursday a minimum of 11 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 25 degrees Celsius. A 24 knot northeast wind will prevail. Karibub will have a maximum of 22 degrees Celsius on Wednesday, and for Thursday a minimum of 9 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 23 degrees Celsius. A 26 knot northeast wind will prevail. And lastly, Omaruru will have a maximum of 21 degrees Celsius on Wednesday, and for Thursday a minimum of 8 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 23 degrees Celsius. A 26 northeasterly wind will prevail.
Kykers, ons het aan die einde van vandag se program gekom. Sluit gerus dagliks om 2 uur op ons DStv kanaal 285 of GoTV kanaal 94 by ons aan en geniet 'n verskeidenheid van programme op ons NMH aanlyn TV kanaal oneup2.com. Julle kan ook toegang tot meer nuus en ander stories kry op ons webwerf www.erongo.com.na of volg ons op Facebook. Vir jou advertensiebehoeftes, kontak ons by erongotalk@synergy.com.na of stuur vir ons 'n WhatsApp of Telegram na 0817 000 40. Ek herhaal die nommer vir julle, dit is 0817 000 40. Vereers en tot 'n volgende keer sê ek dan cheerio.